Dr. Sidney Heron appeared back in Grey's Anatomy Season 2 before disappearing in Season 4, but Season 21 brought her back to Grey Sloan Memorial. Here's why the cheerful surgical resident left and what brought her back in Grey's Anatomy Season 21. Played by Rocha, Sidney Heron greatly annoyed the original group of interns, Magic, due to her buoyant approach to everything that was thrown at them. The intern's hesitation in dealing with Sidney was eventually shared by her fellow surgical residents, who often preferred to avoid working with her, highlighting how her positivity usually came out as passive-aggressive. Grey's Anatomy's longevity as a TV show guaranteed the vast majority of characters left through the years. Becoming notorious for shockingly killing off its main characters, Grey's Anatomy nonetheless let many of its characters leave the show without being dramatically killed. That was the case for the most recent Grey Sloan Memorial interns, whose careers were negatively impacted by Grey Sloan Memorial losing its residency program, but also for past residents and doctors whose stories were simply not shown on screen anymore. That was what happened to Rocha's Dr. Sidney Heron, who disappeared seemingly overnight in Grey's Anatomy Season 4. Sidney Heron quietly left Grey's Anatomy in Season 4. What happened? Sidney was last seen on screen during her failed date with Derek Shepherd. Sidney Heron was effectively introduced as Miranda Bailey's replacement in Grey's Anatomy Season 2, subbing for her as she was on maternity leave and taking care of Bailey's interns. Sidney's approach of healing with love was opposed from day one of her covering for Bailey, and Christina even got Burke to second-guess Sidney's surgical approach, despite not having any authority to do so, being just an intern. All in all, Sidney Heron's introduction to Grey's Anatomy proved epical, establishing her character without ambiguity and making her unforgettable, an approach Sidney's departure in Grey's Anatomy Season 4 didn't share at all. Indeed, Sidney Heron's exit from Grey's Anatomy Season 4 happened without fanfare. After appearing on and off throughout Grey's Anatomy Season 3, Sidney only appeared in Season 4, Episodes 5 and 8. Heron's last interaction with those at Seattle Grace was on a date with Derek that Meredith claimed he was on to make her believe he was moving on, which was only concluded later in Grey's Anatomy Season 4, Episode 8 when Sidney stated Derek couldn't meet her needs. Sidney's story had thus run dry, as she didn't begin dating Derek and lost the coveted spot as chief resident. Which Grey's Anatomy episodes Rocha appeared in as Sidney Heron. Rocha played Sidney Heron on Grey's Anatomy from Season 2 to 4. Rocha portrayed Sidney Heron in 8 episodes from Grey's Anatomy Seasons 2 to 4, returning for an additional 3 in Grey's Anatomy Season 21, bringing the total to 11 episodes. If Sidney's first appearance in Grey's Anatomy Season 2, Episode 15 established her perky attitude while also driving a wedge between her and Christina while Alex thrived on Sidney's service, the other episodes in which Heron appeared also prompted her to have a special relationship with Miranda's interns. A good example of that was Sidney's profound exchange with Meredith about funeral practices in Grey's Anatomy Season 4, Episode 5. However, what had an even more lasting impact was Sidney's story arc in Grey's Anatomy Season 3. Indeed, Heron's stint as Izzy's peer counselor after Denny's death helped Izzy but also offered an important insight into Sidney's story, explaining the tragedy behind her breakdown and her subsequent return to the program as a changed resident. While Heron's remaining arc in Grey's Anatomy Season 3 only saw her as Miranda's rival for the chief resident position, Grey's Anatomy Seasons 2 to 4 showed the upbeat resident forge meaningful bonds with her temporary interns, thus concluding Heron's contribution to the medical drama. Rocha is scheduled to reprise the role of Sidney Heron in 3 episodes of Grey's Anatomy Season 21. With only one of the 3 episodes released, it's difficult to devise her return's true intentions. However, given how Grey's Anatomy Season 21 already revealed Heron finished her residency and moved to be an attending in Florida, returning to Seattle and Grey Sloan Memorial must have had a lot with the opportunity to direct the residency program and its interns. This would let Sidney's return mirror her initial arrival, as Heron found herself taking over Bailey also in Grey's Anatomy Season 21. Bailey never hid her antipathy for Sidney Heron and her approach in Grey's Anatomy, becoming a focal point in Season 3 when Bailey discussed it out loud with Callie. Callie's brief interactions with Sydney confirmed Bailey's opinion, as Sydney proved very defensive about how she ran the Denny Duquette clinic. Given her public and negative reactions to Sydney's methods, it would be easy for someone outside their dynamic to assume Bailey's intense dislike for Sydney, making the character responsible for Sydney's return in Grey's Anatomy Season 21 the one most likely to have done so with ulterior motives in mind. Grey's Anatomy Season 21's premiere revealed Richard's promotion after the mass firings of Grey's Anatomy Season 20's finale. While Catherine had personal grievances with Bailey due to her support of the interns' rebellion, making it difficult for Richard to stand up for Bailey outright against Catherine, he could push her to fight. The quickest way to force Bailey to fight for her job and her educator role would be to put a rival she disliked in her place, training interns in a way Bailey abhorred, making this potential machination from Richard the most likely true reason behind Sydney Heron's return. What Callie Rocha has done since leaving Grey's Anatomy. Rocha's career included major roles in comedies. Ever since she left Grey's Anatomy, Callie Rocha appeared in various TV shows and films. While most of Rocha's work after Grey's Anatomy included minor roles, she played main characters in 3 comedies. Rocha portrayed Summer Dickey, the titular character's friend in Sherry, for 1 season in 2009, and also played Karen Rooney in Disney Channel's Liv and Maddie from 2013 to 2017, appearing in 80 episodes as the titular twins' mother. Finally, Rocha played Adam's sister-in-law in Man with a Plan from 2016 to 2020, cementing her career in comedy before returning as Sydney to Grey's Anatomy Season 21.